So before we get into this video, I want to give a really big shout out to Legend D Vash, Twitter up here, and to my boy Christian Forget for helping me and making a sick intro video. The images and music are really good and I really appreciate you guys. Now hit it. Minasan, konnichiwa, Real Corazon back for a new video. This week will be on Darling in the Franxx. Now, I just recently finished this anime like a week ago, so it's still relatively fresh in my mind. And now this, I will say, is going to be one of my more subjective opinions because I know a lot of people didn't love the ending of this anime, and as a whole, it wouldn't be the best, but I really did love this anime. It's one of my favorites of all time, to be completely honest with you. It's in my top 15. But, so yeah, this might just seem really subjective to you guys. So the synopsis of this anime is basically about a bunch of teenagers who get into robots and fight monsters. Now, there's a lot of more in-depth storytelling within the anime, but without me, spoiling too much about it, I will not be talking about that. But what you need to know is that it's a lot about love, caring, and relying on other people. And it is a mecha. So I know mecha isn't the most popular genre out there, but I do recommend that you start watching mecha animes because everyone that I've watched, Code Geass, Darling in the Franxx, Evangelion, Gurren Lagann, every single mecha I've watched has been really good. Some of them have been really amazing. 2 of them are in my top 3, so I think that means something. So start watching mecha animes. Let's get right into the Darling of the Franxx review. We will still be using the same 5 category system: main characters, side characters, animation, villains, and story. So yeah, let's get right into it, guys. Like usual, the first aspect we'll be speaking about is the main character. The main character of this show is a boy named Hiro. He's a teenager, he's quite kind, loving, caring, and would go as far as he can for the ones he loves. But there is another side to him that's more curious. He asks questions, he wants to know why things are the way they are, and he is not afraid to speak up against the hierarchy because he is unsure of the moves they make and what exactly they have in mind. So Hiro starts off as kind of like a basic character and then really works his way up, and as he grows in the anime, you also grow to like him more and more and more. For that reason, I'm giving him an 8.4 out of 10. I enjoy this character a lot, seeing where he started and then seeing where he left off. So 8.4 out of 10, Hiro is a very strong main character. The next aspect we're going to talk about is the side characters. So there are quite a few side characters in this show. They all, pilot different types of mechas, and then there's like the hierarchy and whatnot. But there's one character in particular that I would like to speak about, and that is 02. Some of you may or may not know who that is. She has pink hair, green eyes, little horns. She's quite popular in the anime world. Regardless if you know the anime or not, most people know who she is. She is amazing though. She's my favorite character in the show, and she's arguably in my top 3 favorite female anime characters of all time. 02 is like this really rugged, hard, lonesome type of person, and throughout the anime, Hiro really helps her to develop into a really different type of person, and her character development is truly beautiful. And her backstory is like one of the saddest I've seen in a very long time. I deeply feel sorry for what happened to her, so for me, easy 9.7 out of 10 just because of 02. Now the other characters all are really cool too, and there's some really interesting ones. They each have like 1 or 2 episodes where like they extremely develop. So there's a lot of character development in this show for I believe 24 episodes it was. And within these 24 episodes, each side character kind of gets their own mini arc of character development, so I can really appreciate that. So again, this is a 9.7 out of 10. So the next category we'll be speaking about is indeed the animation. So there with Cloverworks, they have done works like Promise Neverland, Fairy Tail, Persona 5, the animation, and then they have a couple other ones that are decently well known, but as well known. This company did a fantastic job on this anime. Honestly, I love. They had some of the prettiest scenes I have seen in a very long time. The scenery and aesthetic of this anime are off the charts amazing. I loved every second of the animation. The characters were done well, but it's everything else around it that really blossomed this anime. So I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. Yeah, that's all I gotta say. So the second last aspect we'll be talking about is indeed the story. Story is super important. We all know that. It can make or break an anime, regardless of how good the characters are. So the story for this is pretty decent. above average, I would say. I wouldn't say it was amazing or it was bad. Some people may disagree with me on that. It's just something's kind of come out of nowhere. I'm more focused on the affection between characters rather than the villainous part of it and exactly what was going on and that side of the anime. I was more intrigued with the characters and how they developed around each other and how they just kind of helped each other. So for me, I'm going to give this story a 7 out of 10. Some of you may disagree with me because of the way things ended or the way things came to be out of kind of nowhere, but overall I'm giving it a 7 out of 10 just because the characters' interactions with each other and how they grew in the story was just super good in my opinion. But yeah, we'll get into villains next. Here's kind of where the anime takes a dip in quality, and that is indeed in the villains. The villains in this anime really aren't good. We know them first as Klaxosaurs. They're fighting like these big monster type things. But then it's like a huge twist at the end in the last 2 episodes, I think. So it didn't make sense. Honestly, I thought it was kind of just random and they kind of just threw that out there to add something extra to the anime. Not sure why they did it because everything was going fairly well up until that point. The villains didn't really make sense. Although I did truly love the ending of this anime. It had nothing to do with the enemies that they were fighting. It had everything to do with Hiro and 02. And having said all that, I do highly recommend watching this anime despite the villains being a 5 out of 10. That's what I gotta give it. It's average at best. That's probably being even a little generous. So based off the ratings I give it, the overall anime would get a 78% or 78 out of 100, however you want to put it, which is good. It's not as good as my previous ones, but I probably, oddly enough, enjoyed it more than them. I think there were just some minor details to the anime that needed to really be improved and some things they should and shouldn't have done. However, I do recommend this anime. You should watch Darling in the Franxx. Okay, it's a mecha, yes, but it is quite the love story. It is quite the pull of emotions. It leaves you pretty much in shambles by the end, and it just pulls on the strings of your heart. So I highly recommend watching Darling in the Franxx. And if you come this far in the video, like, subscribe, hit the bell button, and comment down below your opinion on Darling in the Franxx if you have watched it. Or, you know, give me suggestions of things that you would like to hear my short, non-spoiler review on. So yeah, guys, Real Corazon out. Thanks for staying tuned.